Hello, and welcome to Zach and I's podcast episode. We will be discussing autism in film and autistics in filmmaking process. So let's just jump right in. So Zach, as an autistic person, what drew you to filmmaking?
What drew me to filmmaking is that films, compared to real life, are much more simple in terms of being able to understand what's going on in a variety of ways, both in terms of
Mm.
morally, in terms of characters, in terms of what's going on narratively, whereas the real world is confusing and terrifying, both in
Yes.
terms of how the world itself operates as well as the people within it a lot of the time. Films
Hmm.
are very straightforward for the most part, unless it's like an experimental film, and that's always drawn me to it. It's always You're always able to gain information much quicker and easier from film than you would be in almost any situation in the real world. And you're able to understand and empathize with people on a level of which you aren't able to with most people who are in the real world.
Hmm.
And that's what's driven me to want to make films, is because I feel like this is a way that I can bring across my ideas and perspectives on things in a way that will not only inform people in a way that everyone will be able to understand, but also entertain them in the process.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Um, yeah, I think I have some overlapping aspects to my answer as well. Um, I think I just, you know, as a kid watching movies and TV and even playing video games, were definitely a way for me to sort of understand and decode the world and its social, written and unwritten rules. And so, I mean, I remember being a little kid playing Barbies and having like a set characters, and they had their character growth, and reoccurring Barbies would come in and play their role, and I also found myself sort of trying to understand the world through that, through creating my own narratives privately, through things like playing Barbies and playing Sims. And so it's sort of yeah, it was kind of like an opening of or an awakening of, hey, maybe I want to tell stories. And yeah, it's definitely a really nice way to be able to sort of consume and digest the world and social structures and be able to, you know, uh, take away some of those lessons for sure. I agree with that. So what are some unique qualities that autistics possess that might make us great at filmmaking, do you think?
Well, when it comes to autistic people, when it comes to things we are extremely passionate about, we are very detail oriented to a point of obsession almost. And as
Yes.
a result, we will think of and catch things that a lot of other people won't. Even those who are neurodivergent and extremely passionate about films, there are things that we can almost be perfectionists in a lot of ways. And this is
Mhm.
represented by the fact that Stanley Kubrick, probably the most famous autistic filmmaker, is
Mhm.
a notorious perfectionist to a extreme fault almost.
Yes.
But
Yes,
also, like,
absolutely.
other famous autistic directors, you have David Byrne, who you would know, of course,
Mm.
from his musical career as well as his filmmaking
Right.
career. And then you've got David F. Sandberg, the man behind the one good DC film in the past 10 years,
I love it.
um, as well as the only good Annabelle film. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that eye for detail is something that I admire. And again, the, you know, um, the hyper focus for sure, and being able to hyper focus on your special interests, sometimes it can just be like, it can feel like unlocking, unlocking something inside of ourselves, and I think it's a really special opportunity to be able to have lots of different types of brains on set, you know, um, being able to fill in gaps where needed and make up for shortcomings, citing some details that someone missed, along the way. Again, I think that just the passion that comes from hyperfocus, and being able to really just sink your teeth into a project and creativity in the form of filmmaking is so valuable. And I really think is wonderful, a wonderful thing that autistics bring to the table as far as filmmaking goes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that just about wraps up our first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Tune in for episode 2. We'll
Right.
be discussing representation in film and media.